Oprah here. Today we have with us Janie Mae Woods, the former Mrs. Mayor Starks, and Joe Starks, the former mayor of Edenville, Florida. They are here to reflect on their past marriage and hopefully resolve any old conflicts they've had. And now we welcome Janie. Welcome, Janie.
Hi, thanks. Nice to be here.
Nice for you to come. Now, to start this off, I understand that you were married to another man at the time that you met Joe.
Yes, at the time that I met Joe, I'd been married to Mr. Logan Killix.
I see. Now, why did you run off with Joe after just knowing him for a short amount of time and leave your husband?
Well, I feel like between Logan and me, we had been married for about a year, and I feel like there was no love connection, so I feel like I wanted to marry Joe just to be free and just for there to be a change.
I see. Now that you know everything you've gone through with Joe and all the hardships that the marriage caused, were you happy that you ran off or with Joe, or would you rather have stayed with Logan?
Honestly, I feel like even though my marriage with Joe was an unsuccessful one, I can honestly say that because of that I grew as a person, and now I know that having matured, I knew what to look for in my next relationship.
Well, that seems like it was a good experience then, because you gained knowledge, like life skills, from the experience you had with the two relationships. So that was definitely a good thing that's gonna help you get far in life. Now, after hearing Janie's point of view, we want to welcome Joe Starks to see his point of view on the opposing side.
Well, hello, Oprah. It's so nice to be here.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Glad you could make it.
My pleasure.
So I already talked to Janie about how she left Logan and ran off with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on your side, why would you run off with Janie even after knowing her for a short amount of time? What made you think that she was the perfect wife?
When I first saw Janie, I was attracted by her beauty and her long hair and her dignity, but I just saw a spark in her which made me want to bring her down and be my wife. I thought she'd fit in perfectly, and I was willing to provide for her.
I see. Now, when you say fit in perfectly, I take it that you mean in Edenville, Florida.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I understand that you had some plans for Edenville to shape it up and to buy land for Edenville and just
true.
improve it. Now, where did Janie fit in for your plans?
My plan for Janie was I was going to make her Miss Mayor, and I thought that she would be happy with that title because I was willing to provide for her and build her up to something so great, and for some reason she just wasn't happy and satisfied, and I don't know why she wouldn't have liked what I gave to her, because I felt that I was a good husband to her.
You felt like you were a good husband? What do you feel like you did to make yourself a good husband?
I feel like I provided for her more than anyone would have ever given to her, and I could not see how she would have gotten that anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like you were a good husband to her, but it seems like she didn't speak out enough. Now, going back to Janie's point of view, why didn't you keep your mouth closed and listen to Joe's orders when you clearly didn't want to?
You know, at first I felt that it was just out of a way to show respect for Joe to hear, but after a while I realized that it wasn't worth the fight that I had to risk just to put out my own opinions, because I felt that my voice was silenced because if he wasn't going to accept me for who I was, I felt that as long as I was going to keep this marriage sound and intact because I had nowhere else to go, I might as well just keep that other part of myself to myself, basically, to keep myself kind of locked away.
I see. Now, what happened when you did speak out? You spoke out to him in front of, the whole town and embarrassed him. What happened when you did that?
After I did that, Joe, in turn, retaliated brutally with physical force, and that's what had been going on basically whenever I had said something or done something to displease him. It could have even been attacks, just simple, just cutting meat for somebody. If I had done it the wrong way, I would have been embarrassed in front of other people. I would have been attacked, and personally, I just didn't appreciate the fight that it was worth. It wasn't worth it to me anymore. I just kept it all sealed away, I guess.
Janie, how could you say that about me? After all I did for you, I provided for you like no other man could have, and I don't think ever could. I bought you so much, and I made you who you are to be, so don't dare say that I didn't let you be who you are. I made you Mrs. Mayor Starks, Janie.
But Jody, you didn't make me Janie. You didn't make me more of who I was, and that's what I've been wanting in a relationship for such a long time. When you made me Mrs. Mary Sparks, you made me a married woman again, but what you didn't make me was part of a happily married couple, Jody. And I don't know why you couldn't see that I wasn't really being myself. Maybe it was because you were too busy, doing your duties as the mayor over the whole town, that I guess I just got left behind. I guess I fell by the wayside. But what I wanted to say was that I just felt like I couldn't say what needed to be said, just for the sake of the both of us.
Well, stop right there. I have one more question to ask you two. First for Joe. Do you think that the fact that you two ran away after barely knowing each other, like you had just met each other like a short while ago, do you think that that had a negative effect on your marriage?
I don't think so, because what I saw in Janie stayed the whole time, and the beginning of our marriage is great in my opinion, and I felt that Janie was kept up to what she needed to be as a wife for me. But then she started insulting me and trying to embarrass me publicly and stepping out of her place as Mrs. Mayor. So I don't think that had any effect on it, because we were going to be the same people no matter how long we knew each other before we got married.
I see.
Honestly, I don't think I can say the same. I feel like if Jody would have had a chance to know me, we could have worked out a lot more between the two of ourselves, just in terms of relationship. We would have known what would have made each other happy a little bit better. I feel like, honestly, I knew what would please you, and I knew how to be a good wife to you, Jody, but it got hard towards the end when I felt like you weren't being a good husband to me spiritually, because I knew you had provided and you did all the things that you had promised to do. But what I don't recall you ever promising to do was to love me for who I was, and I don't think you ever really got to know that person.
Yeah, well, at least you know from experience what you want for the future now. Now, from learning the lesson with Joe, for future relationships, are you going to wait to get married and wait to get to know the man a little bit more, or are you just going to go into it and go with your feelings?
I feel like when you get to know a man a little bit more, you do have a better idea of your feelings. But for me, it's not about waiting or just going with the flow. It's about meeting someone who you honestly, personally can say that you've grown to care about over time and can really relate to.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, thanks for your time, you two, today. We hopefully resolved any conflicts you guys had, and hopefully you opened your mind to each other and you have a better understanding of your past relationship. It was nice to have you two on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all we have time for today.